Hello friends, welcome to my channel Learning with SV. Today we shall be understanding the basics of what a project is all about. Over and above that, we will understand what a program is and what a portfolio is. Per the Project Management Institute, the PMI, a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique service, transition, offering or outcome. I repeat, a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique service, transition, outcome or activity. Let us underline the two words here. A project is unique, one. And number two, the project is always temporary. There is nothing called as a permanent project. In other words, a project has a definite start line and a definite end line. So if you look at it from the construct, every project is temporary. Okay? Now that we have understood what a project is, a project will need some bucket of work with which they will deliver value. Okay? And that bucket of work is what you call as scope. It is not enough if you just have scope alone. You need some money or some funding with which the project has to get delivered. That is what you call as cost or cost. The third thing is the projects are not forever. In other words, it has to stop by a definite timeline, and that definite timeline is what you call as a schedule. In other words, a schedule is a timeline beyond which the outcome of the project's efforts are futile. So this is what you other words call as a triple constraint of project management: scope, cost and schedule. Scope, cost and schedule. Now we have been speaking about this scope of work or the bucket of work which I have been talking to you, and if that level of work which we are delivering to customer has not changed very much, or if it is reasonably constant, then that kind of a work is what you call as fixed scope work, or a conventional word for that would be what you call as waterfall. Now there are certain activities where the scope of work has to undergo a certain level of change because it has to meet a set of requirements of the customer, and that kind of work where the scope of work has to be altered is what you call as an adaptive kind of a project work. The reason why it is called as adaptive is essentially the customer has given some work, the team essentially inspects and adapts to the changing requirements of the customer. So when you start inspecting, you have to adapt, and when you adapt, you have to inspect. It is once again like a give and take, handshake kind of an activity. This kind of a project work is what you call as an adaptive work or an agile project. So essentially the two kinds of project execution are plan driven, which you call as waterfall, or adaptive, which is also called as agile. Now from the measurement of scope, schedule and cost, for a plan driven work there is not much of scope change. In other words, the team and the project manager who deliver the work ensure that the level of change in the project is actually discouraged to the maximum extent. So if a customer wants to fill in some last level features, it is very unlikely that it is going to be included unless it is really important, without which the project will be a showstopper. However, in an agile project, the level of scope change is reasonably high. Mark me, it is reasonably high. It doesn't mean to say that the customer will not be constantly changing the scope every day and every time. The idea is there is a certain level of scope change allowed in access to the point that the ongoing sprint or the schedule or the iteration is not fractured. The overall idea of a 1 week, 2 week, 3 week or a 4 week iteration is that it should meet its goal. If you have got that level of work, and if there is a certain level of change which is enabling the team to take the goal of the sprint alive, then that is perfectly fine. So now that we have understood what a plan driven project and an adaptive project is all about, I really thank you for your time, and please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my video. Watch out next for more of my videos where we will be talking more about what are the steps of project management and how are we going to enable business activities to fruition. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. By the way, I have also given my contact number and my email ID in my profile. I really want to thank you for your time and effort. Goodbye.